What's up, crew? Welcome back or welcome to the Daily Multivitamin Podcast. It is my belief that your input will determine your outlook and your outlook will determine your output. And so your input is vitally important. Started this podcast to hopefully give you some input that would be worth your time, that could help shape your outlook, that will increase your output. Today, wanted to talk about the importance of sequence. Last night, I had the blessing and real gift of hanging with two of my boys. And these are friends of mine that are older, much wiser, more accomplished, incredible dads and husbands, incredible business leaders, very accomplished on a number of different levels, love the Lord, have a faithful walk with Him, and just in general are good guys that do real good in their neighborhood, community, city, and far beyond that as well. And so we got together last night amidst this COVID-19. We made sure to keep the 6 feet of distance, so stop your judging if you're doing that. Chill out. We were good. We enjoyed some steaks that were cooked on the brand new green egg that my boy just got, and enjoyed a couple of cigars around the fire pit. And it was during this time, I always want to take advantage of these moments, because there's guys like this that have learned and walked through so much. You know, there's truth to the statement that I think Warren Buffett said, is you always learn from experience. You either learn from the painful moments of your own experience or from the experience of others. It's up to you which one you want to learn from. And so I'm wanting to do everything I can to wisely navigate this life, this story that I love more than anything, and make sure I'm showing up well for the people that really matter in my life. And I recently have just been dealing with the challenge of showing up at home. You know, I'm running a business here that's performing at a pretty high level, and you connect that with, I just love what I do. To me, this is a sport, it's a game. And there are many times during the day when what I'm doing for work doesn't feel like work, it feels like play. And what that means is that I could do that ad nauseam. The only thing that would stop me is I have to get to sleep. And that's a problem when you've got a family, or it could be a problem when you have a wife that you love and 3 kids that you need to be powerfully present with. And over the last 2 weeks, I've just found that it's been more difficult to powerfully show up when I'm at home, when I'm present, to be really present, when I'm there with my kids, to be super engaged, all in, no distractions, no pings on the phone or on my Apple Watch. I'm not thinking about what next new thing I want to create, or even this next new podcast. I'm just all in. I've had a hard time with that recently. I've had a hard time making sure that I'm all there for my wife. And despite my best intentions and efforts, even over this past week, to meaningfully connect with her on a daily basis in the evenings, we didn't do it. And it's my fault. I failed. You know, we've got COVID-19 going on. We're watching movies and hanging out till later than normal with the kids. And I've allowed that to take precedence over me just pulling my wife aside and saying, hey, let's go connect here for 30 minutes. And so I asked the guys last night, how do you avoid that? And how do you make sure that you do show up, and you do it in such a way that you don't have to look back a month or 2 months or 3 months and realize, whoa, I wasn't showing up for a long time. I don't want that to be my story at all. And so what they shared with me last night was extremely helpful. I hope it helps you. Let them mentor you a little bit. And what they said to me was, John, sequence matters. And my buddy Bobby said it's kind of like the metaphor of putting on your oxygen mask in the airplane. They always tell you put yours on first and then put the ones next to you second, because if you are not breathing yourself, then you are not going to be any help to anyone else. So ensure the sequence and the order is right. And as he was speaking, there was a picture that came to mind. I've officiated a lot of weddings, and one of the things that has been somewhat of a staple, not at everyone, but at a lot of them, has been those chocolate fountains, if you know what I mean. Like, you've got the multiple levels But if you don't have the overflow of the top that goes to the second, third, or fourth, you've got no fountain. And the sequence matters. You've got to fill the first fills the second fills the third fills the fourth. You get the point. Bobby would go on to say something that I thought he was going to say, but actually he didn't say. I thought what he was going to say is put your own oxygen mask on first, and then from the overflow, you'll be able to love people well. But that's not what he said. What he said instead was, John, you need to make sure your marriage, your relationship with your wife is the one that's being fully oxygenated. That's the cup. Now I'm mixing metaphors, forgive me, but that's the cup that's got to be so full that it's overflowing. And every other area of your life is going to experience the overflow and the attending joy, peace, and powerful presence as that cup overflows. And so take care that your relationship with your wife is preeminent. He would go on to say, if that relationship, so he said, just think of it this way. If your relationship with your wife crashes, how many other things crash? A lot crashes. If your relationship with your wife is flourishing and thriving, how many other things flourish and thrive? I couldn't have agreed more with it. It was a timely piece of counsel and exhortation and real provocation for me. And so I left last night with an elevated emotion and a clear intention to really invest and make sure my relationship with my wife, that cup is overflowing. Came at a great timing. We're about to hop out of the pocket here and spend a week at the cabin. Really looking forward to doing that. And now I'll have some time after work is done to really focus on her and the kids. But make sure the sequence is right. If you're married, this is a great time to invest in that relationship. If you're not married, it's a great time to identify what that lead domino or that lead relationship is that provides all of the other overflow. If you're single, it's likely to be just you. Like, you got to make sure you're oxygenated because everything else follows from that. For some of you others, there's a different relationship here, but you got to take care and find what is the one that whatever happens to that one, everything else responds to. Hope you guys have a great day. See you.